I want to go to the power of finishing.
Uh-huh.
Because you said something, another genius gem from Big Magic, about, I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to be finished.
Yes.
And that is another one of those things where I'll hear from folks, it's like there's, 15 half-created bridges, things that are just half done, and it tortures them, and they're afraid to start something new because they haven't really developed the habit of getting something out there, even if it's not totally perfect.
Man, this is a huge one. This is a really huge one for women because it's all rooted in perfectionism, which is, of course, the murderer of all good things. Perfectionism is it's a serial killer that just goes around killing joy, spontaneity, wonder, grace, humility. It just kills it all. And perfectionism, I think, is a particularly dangerous kind of fear. I always call perfectionism fear in high-heeled shoes because it's fancy. It's like a really fancy haute couture version of fear because perfectionism can advertise itself as a virtue, and it can trick you into letting it think that it makes you special.
Yes.
Because people
have such high standards.
Yeah, have such high standards. I'm like, I just can't rest till something. I'm a perfectionist. It's what people say in job interviews as their fault.
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess I just care too much. And you're like, wow, you're telling me. But what you're telling me when you say that is that it's going to be very hard for you, not only to finish something, but probably to begin something. Because the true perfectionist won't even start because they know already that it's not going to be the thing that they're dreaming of. And their tastes and their standards are so high. There's this woman I recently was talking to who wrote a very successful book maybe 15 or 20 years ago and hasn't been able to write another book since. And I was talking to her about it, and she said, the world's just so full of crap work, and I just don't want to put another piece of crap on the crap pile. So I just won't release this thing until I feel like it's perfect. And I said to her, I am so glad I never took that on as my problem, that the world is full of garbage. Like, how is that your responsibility? This is not your problem. And I was like, it's not my problem if my work isn't good. It's not my problem. It's not even my fault. Like, it's not my problem. My problem, the contract that I made, the only way I finished my first novel, because it wasn't good, because I'd never written a novel before. So why would it be good? Who wakes up and knows how to write a novel? So I was 50 pages into this thing, and I'm 25 years old, and it's not good, and I know what a good novel is, and it's not. This isn't working. And, every dignified part of me wants to just put it in the bottom of the drawer and walk away. And then I just had this warrior moment. And I just remember exactly where I was standing, and I stood up and I said out loud, I never promised the universe I would be a good writer. I just promised the universe I would be a writer. That is the only thing I committed to. This is not my problem. And I just sort of said to the fairies and the genies, I was like, if you guys want it to be good, you're going to have to chip something in here because this is what I can do. If you want to add something, feel anytime, feel free. And the other commitment I made was I do not want to go to my grave with 50 pages of an unfinished novel in a drawer. There's enough of that in the world. And the other thing was this voice where I was anticipating the criticism because I knew what the criticism would be because I knew where it wasn't good. And I just said out loud to all my future critics at that moment, I don't know what kind of language I can use on your show.
Every kind of language. We're from Jersey, girl.
If you don't like it, go write your own fucking book. And you know what? You won't. Guess what? You won't. You won't. And guess what? I did, and therefore I won.
Yes.
Because mine's finished, and yours doesn't even exist, and now you're criticizing mine. This is like an imaginary conversation, by the way, with people who've never heard of me.
Yeah.
But that's how I got through that first book, was just like, I just want it done, because as my mother always taught me, done is better than good. The world's full of a bunch of really, really good, not done stuff.
Yes.
And if you can just finish something, you're already 10 miles ahead of everybody else, because most people won't. And what will make you finish it is not discipline, but self-forgiveness. Because we all start our project on day one with the same level of excitement. And on day two, we all look at what we wrote on day one, and we all hate ourselves because what we wrote on day one, or did on day one, whatever our creativity is, it's horrible.
Horrible.
And the people who go on day 3 and pick it up again and start over are not the most disciplined. It's not rigor that's going to get you there. It's saying, all right, then, I'm not Hemingway. I'm just going to do what I can. And you forgive yourself for disappointing yourself. And you go and you do more. And that's it. It's just like a little bit of humanity towards your poor self.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's the thing I need to remind myself of the most, because I have this thing in me. I can go into that driving place. And again, that's why I love your book so much.